In today's weekly Star Wars news roundup, a Star Wars stunt coordinator reveals an alternate ending for a Revenge of the Sith Duel, a Mandalorian Season 2 star is set to return in Season 3, Jedi Survivor gameplay drops, Andor Season 2 filming locations leak, and an update on the next Star Wars movie. One of the biggest Star Wars YouTubers in the game, Star Wars Theory, dropped a massive interview this week with Nick Gillard, the stunt coordinator from the prequel trilogy. In the interview, Nick Gillard revealed to Theory many concepts or changes for duels, which nearly made it onto the big screen. The biggest of which had to do with the Battle of the Heroes in Revenge of the Sith. Anakin and Obi-Wan Kenobi's final battle, considered by many to be the best in the franchise. In the iconic ending that we know, Obi-Wan leaps over Anakin's head and onto a nearby hill. There he yells,
"It's over, Anakin! I have the high ground!"
Anakin then responds with,
"You underestimate my power! Don't try it!"
before jumping up and having his legs and arms cut off, becoming Darth Matt.
As in, what do you call a guy with no arms and no legs laying on the front porch? Matt. Darth Matt. Okay.
The concept of the high ground has become as iconic as the scene itself, but that wasn't the original way Obi-Wan was set to cut off Anakin's limbs. Gillard stated that there was a version of the fight that ended much differently than what was released in the final cut, and that McGregor and Christensen even tried to convince George Lucas that it was a better idea. Gillard then described in detail how the iconic duel actually played in that version, explaining that Anakin's limbs were cut off in a much different way than in the actual film, and that Obi-Wan was much more on the defensive.
Anakin just grabbed him he disarmed him, grabbed him by the throat. You know, he's got him, and Obi's saber's down on the ground. And Anakin says, "I'm sorry it has to be this way, my master," and actually lets it go. Obi hunches to get away from it, sucks his saber up. As he pulls his saber up, he cuts through Anakin's arms almost by mistake, and then chops through his legs almost by mistake. And the whole body fell off of his legs. And it was more of a defense gone wrong kind of move.
However, Gillard stated his respect for Lucas and said that if he wanted the changes to be made, it would be foolish second-guessing him. While the Battle of the Heroes is iconic, many fans through the years continue to believe that it was out of character for Obi-Wan Kenobi to end the fight so abruptly and treat the situation the way he did. For someone that was like a father to Anakin, he severed 3 of his limbs in one swift motion and then left his former apprentice to burn by the lava. The alternate ending really plays into Yoda's explanation of how a Jedi should use the Force.
A Jedi uses the Force for knowledge and defense, never for attack.
But what do you think of this Revenge of the Sith alternate ending? Would you have preferred to see it? Let us know in the comments below. Gillard went on to talk about plenty of other concepts for the films, including the fact that Dooku wasn't originally going to face off with Yoda in Attack of the Clones. He stated that this change was made by George Lucas on the day of shooting that scene, and that originally, Dooku was supposed to have an extended fight with Obi-Wan and Anakin. If George Lucas hadn't made the last-minute decision to change the scene and include Yoda, it would have most notably delayed Yoda's first on-screen lightsaber duel to his encounter with Palpatine in Revenge of the Sith. Theory's interview was full of many other gems. I highly recommend giving it a watch. Also go and check out Nick Gillard's channel, Gillard Stunts. He's been uploading a ton of behind-the-scenes footage from the prequel trilogy. We'll leave a link in the description as well as to Theory's interview. Now, it wouldn't be a weekly Star Wars news video without talking about The Mandalorian Season 3. The anticipation only continues to grow as we are only a couple of weeks out from the premiere. There's quite a few small Mando news tidbits which have come out this week, so let's begin with a Season 2 star who looks to be set to make her return in Season 3. Over the weekend, 2 images of promotional t-shirts for The Mandalorian appeared online, which featured helmets of various Mandalorians seen in the series. In the images, helmets for Din Djarin, Bo-Katan Kryze, the Armorer, Paz Vizsla, and what appears to be the helmet worn by Casca Reeves, the character played by Mercedes Varnado, who's better known as former WWE superstar Sasha Banks, now Mercedes Moné in NJPW and Stardom in Japan. Bespin Bulletin shared some Mandalorian set photos at El Dorado Park from March of last year. They show multiple cast members, with one actress standing out. They bear a striking resemblance to Mercedes Varnado or Casca Reeves, and the report claims they saw her filming scenes alongside the unmistakable Katie Sackhoff as Bo-Katan Kryze. But the images were taken from a fair distance, so it may be hard to say for sure. Mercedes previously denied returning to The Mandalorian back in October of 2021 when speaking to Bleacher Report, saying, "First of all, thanks for trying to get that out, but I'm not on the next season. But it was incredible being on The Mandalorian, on Star Wars. To be in a franchise that is so huge and so loved. Just look at all the reception from fans outside of the WWE universe. It was the best feeling of all time. The projection of that show was overwhelming. I legit felt like I was in a galaxy far, far away. I felt like I was on a different planet. It was something I will always take with me, and I took so much of what I learned from acting with them and being with so many great stars to WWE. It really helped my confidence as well when I came back from doing The Mandalorian 2 years ago. It was such a learning curve and something I wasn't expecting. But now I'm in this whole new Hollywood world, and it's going amazingly. I'm so excited for the fans, and I can't wait for my fans to see what's next." That being said, it's worth remembering that Varnado previously denied being involved with the second season of The Mandalorian outside of Chapter 11, The Heiress. Casca Reeves later showed up in the Season 2 finale, Chapter 16, The Rescue, despite her previous denials. It was already reported a number of months ago that Axe Woves, who was noticeably absent from Season 2's finale, would be returning alongside Bo-Katan in Season 3, so Casca Reeves also coming back just makes sense. As a big professional wrestling fan and a fan of Monet's, I'd really like to see Casca Reeves back on the big screen, especially if she can bust out another DDT on Boba Fett. In other Mandalorian Season 3 news, someone who won't be returning to the show is composer Ludwig Göransson. According to a report from Film Music Reporter, despite Göransson not scoring Season 3, themes such as its iconic opening will still be used with the composer credited. The situation is apparently similar to that of the Book of Boba Fett, where Göransson composed the opening and closing themes of the show and had Joseph Shirley compose the rest. Following his work on Fett, Shirley will be stepping in to take over scoring duties on The Mandalorian Season 3. We are still clearly in very good hands. Our final bit of Mandalorian Season 3 news for the week also has to do with the behind-the-scenes production of the show. We've learned through Emily Swallow and Tate Fletcher, who play the Armorer and Paz Vizsla respectively, in an interview with the Virtual Cantina, that Rick Famuyiwa apparently directed both the first and final episodes of Season 3. Famuyiwa has also been bumped up to an executive producer of the series, with Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni branching out with other series tied to the Mandoverse in Ahsoka and Skeleton Crew, both of which are also due to release later this year. In addition to Rick Famuyiwa, other directors this season include Carl Weathers, Bryce Dallas Howard, Peter Ramsey, Rachel Morrison, and Lee Isaac Chung. Now on to Jedi Survivor. The game is now set to drop in April, and on Tuesday, IGN dropped 9 minutes of gameplay footage. The gameplay video shows Cal Kestis and BD-1 making their way around a new planet called Kobo. According to IGN, this is set early on in the game when Cal crash lands after a secret mission gone wrong. The planet appears to be a separatist holdout, as the video shows a Lucrehulk ship and patrols of B-1 battle droids, B-2 super battle droids, and BX commando droids roaming the surface. The video also confirms that Kobo is home to plenty of hostile beasts as well. The gameplay showcases some cool combo moves for Cal, along with stylish executions. The player can also detach their lightsaber into 2 blades at will, building on that cool ability unlocked near the end of Fallen Order. In terms of collectibles, Force Echoes return for Cal to absorb, and the video shows him collecting a bomber jacket cosmetic item from a storage container. It's unclear if Cal will only be collecting different types of jackets now instead of the ponchos like in Fallen Order, or if those clothing items will make a return in a slightly more limited capacity this time around. We're surely going to see even more coverage from IGN as we approach Survivor's release. Ryan McCaffrey, IGN's executive editor, teased the video before it dropped, but also stated it's going to be a very good month for Star Wars fans. Buckle up. Now on to some quick Andor Season 2 news, with the series continuing to film ahead of its rumored 2024 release. Bespin Bulletin have confirmed Andor Season 2 is currently filming at the McLaren Technology Centre located in Woking, England. they managed to snap some pictures of EE signs pointing towards the McLaren Technology Center, stating EE stands for E&E Industries, the production company being used for Andor that were seen at various locations during the Season 1 shoot. Andor Season 1 filmed scenes at the location. Notably, it was used as the Coruscant spaceport, seen in the 4th episode of Andor's first season, where Cyril Karn was seen returning to the planet to live with his mother and munch on cereal all day long. Given how the McLaren Technology Center was used as the Coruscant spaceport in Andor's first season, we can probably expect it to be used for the same location in Season 2. That means yes, we will be returning to the galactic capital in Andor Season 2. Finally, an update on the next Star Wars movie set to release in 2025 from Damon Lindelof. It's been a little while since we've had any updates on the film, but this week we may have had a substantial one from Jeff Snyder, who has been the only person really reporting on it. During the latest episode of Jeff Snyder's podcast, The Hot Mic, which he co-hosts with John Rocca, Snyder was asked if there's any updates he could share on Damon Lindelof's mysterious Star Wars movie. Snyder was the first to break the news that Damon Lindelof was working on the project in the spring of last year, and in more recent times shared that casting is already underway on the project, with the 2 leads already cast. Snyder revealed in the past that there's 2 leads in the film, a man and a woman, both people of color, and adds that the male actor came attached when the project was being put together. Snyder then asked the audience who Damon Lindelof worked with on his last series, that being HBO's Watchmen, to which his co-host John Rocca responded with,
Yahya Abdul-Mateen II?
To which Jeff Snyder nods his head and says it fits with previous descriptions he's been given about the male lead in the past.
An actor who's gone back and forth between film and television and has never been the lead of his own film.
And signs off that Yahya in Star Wars is a real possibility. Yahya is without question one of the rising stars in Hollywood at the moment and led Damon Lindelof's last series, Watchmen, for HBO. Yahya is probably best known for playing Black Manta in the 2018 blockbuster Aquaman and will appear in its sequel releasing later this year. He has also been cast as the lead in the upcoming MCU series Wonder Man. But that about does it for today's weekly Star Wars news roundup video. If you did enjoy, make sure to click the like button and subscribe if you are new to join the Red Squadron. Until next time, thank you so much for watching and may the Force be with you. Red 5, standing by.